Sometime in the late 1970s, my friend Billy and I were bumming around. This was a bona fide activity at the time. We were driving around the California Bay Area in a community called Emerald Hills. Billy was slouched in the seat as usual, tossing flippant remarks that were consistently amusing. That's Billy, leaning on my first car. That Mustang went everywhere during that time, collecting fond memories for only 87 cents a gallon. Billy sat up. "Hey, you want to go check out something weird?" Of course I did. 2 or 3 turns later, down a dusty road and through a chain-link fence I'm sure insisted on no trespassing, we rolled to a stop in a suspiciously empty parking lot invaded by weeds. At the far side of the expanse, dangling off a hill, was a clearly abandoned structure. A multi-story, Victorian-styled building that had seen better days. Tangled vines and tortured foliage indicated an obvious state of vacancy. The front doors were open. Ignoring private property concerns, we strolled in. The grotesque blue paint was rolling off of every surface. The floor was dust and dirt. Newspapers from the 1960s were left where they fell. The hallways were long and seemed to originate from any location. Then there were the doors, solid, black, hinged from the front with a small window reinforced with wire. The doors were all suspiciously missing a handle. On the inside, I swung around and exclaimed, "These doors need handles." Billy was pretty far away at this point. He spun around, armed with his crooked smile, and said, "This is an insane asylum, dude." All of us do often wonder if walls could talk. I'm quite sure these did. Our stroll through this eternity of emptiness continued for what may have been an hour. We ended up in what presented itself like a mess hall. Abandoned dishes and utensils were scattered on silent tables. Adjacent to this forgotten banquet was a heavily windowed room with a diorama of the grounds. The miniature building was meticulously reproduced, complete with the surrounding hills. A really well done, dusty train set. A shadow passed across the little building. The side door opened. The tall, crooked guard's frame blocked the light from the doorway. "You boys ain't supposed to be rummaging around in here." Billy and I exchanged a glance. "We weren't messing anything up," Billy said, "just poking around." "You're gonna have to leave," the guard insisted, pointing a bony finger the way we came. We followed our newfound guide down the echoing hall. He slowed, stopped, and turned. "You guys want to see something weird?" This inquiry was phrased as if we hadn't already. He selected a door in the hall that didn't seem to match the others. The landing led to a steel railing and metal stairs that arrived at yet another suspicious entrance. Our impromptu host swung the metal door aside. It was the morgue. Body coolers hung half open. 3 icy autopsy tables dominated the space. I noticed the filthy drain in the floor. There were chicken feathers everywhere, as if a chicken had been dispatched recently. Our guide leaned on the white-tiled wall and said, "Pretty freaky, don't you think?" The silence and raised eyebrows Billy and I exchanged sealed our agreement. The guard was sporting a crooked smirk, flanking what seemed like our only exit. We surveyed the space, captivated, moved, shocked, not sure which. After a time, the guard leaned forward and strolled past his 2 puzzled guests. He moved towards an unnoticed door at the far side of the silence. He leaned on the bar on the door, and the afternoon sun cut the impasse. He opened his hand, offering an escape. We exited the strange, silent space into the late afternoon. We landed on an access road behind the building, immediately searching for our way back to the car. "The parking lot is that way," he pointed. The guard winked and closed the door. As we strolled back to the car, Billy and I took another look at the strangeness we had just toured and climbed aboard the Mustang. Off we went. Billy was, of course, really proud of himself that he had succeeded in freaking me out. We were able to reset reality by paying a visit to our favorite pizza place. The whole thing was way better than a movie. I'm still really thrilled that our guide decided to let us go.